Now let's put it into practice, or put it to use, okay? More than likely, you're not gonna be drawing with a scale. When I went to school, we actually used the scale to draw. Like we had to draw with a scale. More than likely, you're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna have you do that because again, more than likely you will not be drawing with the scale. What you're gonna be doing is more than likely measuring with a scale. So that's what I wanna do, okay? So we have this assignment that you guys have, okay? And what it says is that, let me double check just to make sure. I think it says there to measure using the, let me go back. The instruction says, please use a 1/8 scale to measure on your printed floor plan, and then write answer, and then put the answers, okay? So we're gonna, it says on the instructions to use the 1/8 scale. So we're gonna be using this scale right here, all right? Now, these right here, and we might not have had talked about this yet, but these are called dimensions. Oh, I'm sorry, I was at the other end. You guys see it backwards, right? Oh, let me do this. So these are called dimensions, right? What a dimension is, it measures the distance from point A to point B, and then it gives you that distance. Now, a dimension is made out of 3 different lines. The extension lines, which is the ones that extend from the object, whatever it might be. The dimension line is where the number is, the distance. In this case, we have 1 because we want you to answer that. And then the ticks right here tell you, or the markers tell you from where to where you're measuring, right? For example, question 1 is telling us, if you look at the dimension, you look at the line, we have 1 tick here, another one here, and then they extend down. So it's telling us the distance from this edge of the house to, we keep on going, to this edge of the house. You see it? Problem or question 2, dimension 2 is telling us you're going to measure from this edge of the house. You keep on going, you see the tick right here to this edge of the house. And then 3, dimension 3, we're measuring from here to there. Okay. 4, right here, we're measuring from here to that wall right there. 5, we're measuring from the wall to that right there. 6, we're measuring from the edge to the center of the window. 7, from the center of the window to the wall. 8, from the wall to the center of the window. 9, from the center of the window to the edge. You guys get it?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Now we're going to put it to practice. Let's measure 1, dimension 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my 1/8 scale, because that's what the one we have to use, and I'm going to measure from here to here, because that's what it's telling me to measure. All right? Actually, you can do the dimension itself. You don't have to go over here. You can do the dimension. So I'm going to start, whenever you measure a dimension, you always set, and let me see if you guys can see it. You always start with 0, always, right here. You always set your scale from where you're going to start at 0. Okay, don't start on this edge. Remember, you always start from 0. Now, when we do a measurement, first we have to figure out the feet and then the inches. Okay, first the feet and then the inches. So using 1/8 scale, okay, 1/8 scale, I'm going to measure this dimension right here. So I put it right at 0, and first I have to figure out how many feet. Right, first the feet. So if I count 4, 8, I'm using the top number, so that's 44 equal 40. That's 44. That means this is 41, 42. 42. Now, if you notice, and this, it might, on your drawings, it might vary just by a little bit, but that's okay. For example, mine, if I'm very precise, and here you might hurt your eyes, but if I'm very, very precise, if I put the scale right at 0, and I go to the right, in my case, I'm a little bit above 43. Okay, a little bit above 43, right? If you want to be very precise. So, and that means that the feet, right, it's 43 and something, right? Because it's above 43. It's not at 43, it's a little bit to the right of 43. So I know that it's 43 and something inches. So first, since I know it's 43, I'm going to put, I'm sorry, not 43, it's 42. 42. So it's 42. Okay, 42 feet. And now I need to figure out the inches. That's not my handwriting, guys. I'm writing backwards. So that's 42 feet. But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out the inches. Now, I don't have to, a lot of students do this. They mark here, and then they come and measure with the inches. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is just shift your scale. That's why we start at 0. So I started at 0 and ended up in a little bit past 42. So now what I'm going to do is now put 42 right at this line and then count the inches. Okay, so I'll put 42 right on the line and then I'll count the inches. And now the eighth, it goes by 2. And the way that I see it, it's right on the first line. So that means it's 2 inches. So it's 42 feet and 2 inches. Questions? So first you figure out, you start with 0, figure out the feet. If it goes beyond the number that it got there, then you just shift it and get the inches. If it lands right on the feet, then you're good. It will be whatever number that is. Let's do another one. Let's do number 2. I'm going to start right at 0. Okay? Right at 0. Now you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe you can see it here better. So I'm going to put it right at 0. Okay, I'm doing dimension 2. And notice that the dimension, actually you can see it here. See how it's not right at this line nor that one? The dimension is right here. It's in between these two. So that tells me it's going to be some inches, right? So I count how many feet? 28, 29, 30, 31. Did it get to 31? No. So that means it's 30 and something, right? Because this is 30 right here. So it's 30 feet and some inches because it didn't get to 31. We're good? So it will be 30 feet. And now I have to figure out the inches. So what do? I just shift so that the 30 feet marker aligns with this dimension here. So I just shift it to the right, like that. And then I come over here and count the inches, starting from 0. You always start from 0. So this one ends up at 8 in mine. 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's 30 feet, 8 inches. Okay, so it's setting your scale at 0, figure out the feet, and then if it goes beyond, like if it falls in between two markers, you always want to go with the least one because it's going to be, for example, if it's this one here, it didn't get to 31, right? It didn't reach 31. It wasn't between 30 and 31. So for sure it's 30, and then you shift the scale and figure out the inches. Let's do one more, and then that's it. Unless you guys have any questions. So again, let's measure this one. Let's measure dimension 3. So I'm going to start at 0. All right. Here we go. Right at 0. And notice that I count 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It's between 11 and 12 feet. So I know for sure it's not 12 because it didn't reach it. So it's 11 and something. So I put 11 feet. And then to figure out the inches, all I do, 11 feet. And then the inches, I'll just shift it so that now 11 aligns with this side of the dimension, and I'll count the inches. And I think I got 4. So 11, 4. 11 feet and 4 inches. Okay? So do that for the whole drawing. Just do all the dimensions, and then when you go to submit it, just type it in like that, 42 feet, 2 inches, or whatever number you get. But make sure you put them like this. Remember, it's number, 1 line's feet, and then another number, 2 lines, it's inches. So it's feet and inches.